Pose, 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 I do adore. Pose, 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 I do adore. What is up, awesome people of the internet? Even though the season's over, that doesn't mean we don't have another poll to go through when it comes to women's college basketball. So we are going through the final poll of the season. This poll was released yesterday, and we're gonna talk about the final AP Top 25 poll for the 2023-2024 women's college basketball season. And of course, we're going to look at both the AP Top 25 poll and the coaches poll as well. And what we will see is that this poll largely does follow the results of the NCAA tournament. So, number one, of course, is the number one team in the country, the team that was undefeated, 38-0, the South Carolina Gamecocks. It makes sense. They're just the best thing out there. And they look very, very formidable. Very, very formidable. In second place, we have Iowa, of course, because Iowa made it to the championship game. I mean, how could you not have Iowa that high? Because they have exceeded expectations. Last year, they were in the championship game. This year, they made it to their second straight championship game. Absolutely, this team is not going to be the same next year because you're losing Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in women's college basketball and the best player in women's college basketball. You're also going to be losing Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall, two players who have absolutely did their thing at Iowa for years and have been leaders on this team. So absolutely this team is not going to be the same next year. But for this year, they are still number two because they made it the farther than everybody else. Looking at number three, we have UConn. Makes sense. UConn made the Final Four. This was a surprise to me. I didn't expect UConn to make it as far as they did. But when you have one of the best players in the country in Paige Beckers, you have also one of the best players in the country, Aaliyah Edwards. You have Nika Mule, who can defensively do her thing. And you have a coaching legend in Gina Auriemma. It makes sense that they made it this far, even though no one expected them to, with basically 3 upperclassmen and the rest freshmen. But that is Gina Auriemma for you. We have at number 4, we have NC State. NC State made it to the Final Four, so again, that makes sense that they were added in here. They did move up seven spots from the last poll. NC State, again, also was a surprise in my opinion, but Isaiah James, she's a special player. And it's my hope that Wes Moore decides or tries to get more help for Isaiah because Isaiah's crazy talented and you need to build around Isaiah in this upcoming year. So the hope is that they will work the transfer portal and see what they could possibly get, because with Isaiah James, this team, sky's the limit if they can actually really, really build around her for next season. Looking at number 5, we have USC. Makes sense. They made it to the Elite 8 with Juju Watkins. They're a great team. And also, guys, USC has a monster of a recruiting class coming in next season. So they're going to get a lot younger and a lot better. So the future for USC is also very, very bright. Then we have LSU. LSU is a squad that did make it to the Elite 8. They didn't make it as far as I was anticipating them to go. I was anticipating them to at least be a Final Four team, but that didn't happen. They got by Iowa, and LSU is a team that's going to look very different next year. Angel Reese has declared for the WNBA. We have Angelica Velez, who has entered the transfer portal. We have Haley Van Lith, who has entered the transfer portal, and who knows what else we may see for LSU in terms of player transition. We have number 7 in Texas. Texas moved down 3 spots from the last time. They did make it to the Elite 8, but ultimately they just didn't have enough to consistently win. Next year, Rory Harmon will be back for the squad, and so really Vic Schaefer is, he's going to have another opportunity to see what he can do, because you'll have Madison Booker and you'll have a healthy Rory Harmon, as well as the other pieces on this team and possible transfers that I assume they will get over the summer. This team is going to be very, very good next year. And then we have Oregon State. Oregon State moved up 4 spots to the number 8 spot. They did make it to the Elite 8. They are a tough team. Scott Ruick is doing some fantastic things at Oregon State. One tough thing is that now you have two players who have entered the transfer portal in Talea von Oelhoffen and Tamia Gardner. Two huge players for their team. Now, I think for Oregon State, the thing that they're going to have to worry about is conference affiliation and top players wanting to eventually go somewhere else to a better conference where they can get more visibility. But so yeah, I think that's a worry for the future of Oregon State. But if they were able to make it this far before, they may not be able to do it next year, but maybe they can continue to build for years in the future and maybe back right here in the in a couple years from now. Then we have Stanford. Stanford is the number 9. I mean, yeah, they're not going to be as great next year because Cameron Brink is going to be gone, but this team is going to be all about Kiki Irafe and just building around her and seeing how she can continue to develop as a player because she is very good. Then we have UCLA at number 10 with Lauren Betts. Coach Corey Close has dealt with a lot of stuff. Lots of team stuff has happened this year, but they were able to make some stuff happen, make some noise in the NCAA tournament, and now it's just building on that for the future. You have Kiki Rice, you have Lauren Betts, add a little bit more pieces, and you may have a serious contender for a national championship in UCLA. Now continuing on, we have Notre Dame. Notre Dame is listed at number 11. Notre Dame is a team that is just tough. They're a good squad. You have the freshman phenom, Hannah Hidalgo. She's returning next year. You have Olivia Miles that's going to be healthy next year. And we're actually going to really be able to see Hannah and Olivia. How can they play together next season? But yeah, they're number 11. All right, now moving on to number 12, we have Indiana. Indiana is a squad that impressed a lot of people this season, and it's also a squad that would look very different next season because you have Sarah Scalia and Mackenzie Holmes both entering the WNBA draft. So it's gonna be tough for them to rebuild, but they can absolutely do it. Then we have number 13, Baylor. They are trying to build some stuff and get some stuff going in the Big 12. Then number 14, Gonzaga. Number 15, Colorado. Number 16, Ohio State, who dropped 9 points because they lost. They got. Ohio State, the best team in the Big 10 by record, they lost. And they lost early. And this was a surprise. This was an absolute surprise, but Ohio State really needs to figure out their identity. They're going to look different because they have seniors leaving this year as well. They're going to look different next year, but it's really about how can you not just do well in the Big Ten during the regular season, but how can you prepare yourself in non-conference to be ready for what the postseason has to offer for the Ohio State Buckeyes. All right, at number 17, we have Duke, who moved up 6 spots. And Duke is just building. They're building something very special. They have a coach in Kara Lawson who had decided not to actually interview for that Tennessee job. She's building something special. She has a young core who has a huge focus on defense, and now it's just about getting the offense to add to that repertoire. Number 18, we have Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a team that, was really good throughout the season, but they had when the season got kind of to a close, you had their best player in Elizabeth Kidley get hurt. So that's that's a lot. That is a whole lot for a team to deal with, and they just couldn't handle it in the postseason. But next year's new year, this team is going to be completely different. They have a brand new coach. Kenny Brooks is gone. A lot of the players have followed him, including Georgia Amore. And yeah, this team is going to have a rough rebuild, a very, very rough rebuild. But, they're going to try their best to do it. Number 19, we have Kansas State. Kansas State dropped 4 points from last time. And again, K-State is a good team. They have a core player in Ayoka Lee. Ayoka Lee is healthy now, which is great. Now it's just about how do you build around her? How do you build enough shooting around her to really, really complement what Ayoka Lee can do? Number 20, we have the Big Orange in Syracuse. Syracuse is a good team. They have impressed a lot of people this season. Coach Felicia Leggett-Jack is the real deal. She is legit. This team will not look the same next year because their best player in Deasia Fair is leaving for the WNBA. So we will see what Felicia is able to do next season because, yeah, Big Orange still wants to be competitive. So we'll see. We'll see what they can do next season. For Oklahoma, they are at number 21. Oklahoma's a good squad. They to me, I thought they accomplished in the tournament exactly what I thought they would. Again, it's just about further developing your program. For number 22, we have Utah. Utah also is going to look very different next year. They are losing Alyssa Peely, their best player. So we'll see how they'll be able to reinvent themselves as a program. For number 23, we have Creighton. Number 24, we have West Virginia. Number 25, we have Iowa. Others that receive votes: Tennessee, Nebraska, Ole Miss, UNLV, Louisville, Middle Tennessee, North Carolina, Fairfield, Texas, and Alabama. And so, guys, that was the AP Top 25 poll. Here's a quick look at the coaches poll, which is very, very similar. Number 1, South Carolina. Number 2, Iowa. Number 3, UConn. Number 4, NC State. Number 5, now here's where there's a slight difference. Number 5, we have Texas. Number 6, USC. Number 7, LSU. Number 8, Stanford. Number 9, UCLA. Number 10, Oregon. And here's where it gets pretty consistent. Number 11, we have Notre Dame. 12, Indiana. At number 13, we have Gonzaga. Number 14, we have Ohio State. Baylor at number 15. Colorado, 16. Virginia Tech, 17. K-State, 18. Then we have Creighton at number 19. Oklahoma at 20. Duke at 21. Utah at 22. Syracuse at 23. UNLV makes this list, even though they didn't make the AP list. At number 24, we have West Virginia at 25. And others that received votes for the coaches poll included Iowa State, Louisville, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, Nebraska, Princeton, Ole Miss, Fairfield, Alabama, Richmond, North Carolina, South Dakota State, Kansas, Jackson State. And guys, that is your final poll for the 2023-2024 season. What are your thoughts about the poll? And also, let me know your thoughts about what you think is going to happen next year, because next year is going to be crazy. We're going to see lots of transitions from players, lots of players who have gone on to declare for the WNBA draft. We also have a lot of players who are already entered in the transfer portal. We have over 1,000 players in the transfer portal. So next year is going to look different. So buckle y'all seatbelt, get some popcorn, and we about to have a fun, entertaining summer. All right, until next time, guys. Bye.